All right, shifting focus to what's happening here at home, where we continue to take a look at all the reported fraud taking place across the country. Today, we're going back to Minnesota, where the cases keep piling up. Authorities are looking for a Somali national accused of orchestrating a massive $11 million Medicaid fraud scheme in the state. The suspect did not show up for a pretrial hearing this week, shocking, raising concerns that he may have not just been out of town, but out of the country. And while alleged fraud cases like this happen under the eyes of Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison, state Democrats united to block impeachment investigations into their handling of all of it. I sat down with Michelle Tafoya, who is running to be Minnesota's next U.S. Senator, to talk about all of this and more. Well, fraud, of course, is a huge issue in Minnesota and across the country. You're running to be Minnesota's next senator. How do you plan on addressing this issue? It just seems to be plaguing all types of states, but particularly started in Minnesota. And really, you know, the word fraud just means theft.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it means you've been robbed, basically, right? And it's every Minnesotan, and it's all of our tax dollars. And really, a lot of it is federal money. So everyone around the country should be angry about this, that their money's been stolen. Look, there are a couple things. We have been essentially ground zero for fraud. We can also be ground zero for cleaning it up and setting the bar for how we get this done. One of the first things I would do in the Senate is join Mike Lee and Ted Cruz in passing, in sponsoring the Deporting Fraudsters Act, which would say basically, look, if you're here as a guest of this country and you defraud Americans, you're gone, and you cannot come back.
In Washington, House Democrats continue to block legislation that would allow for investigations into how state leaders have handled this situation. You know, the governor of Minnesota claims that he has been fighting this fraud. That's blatantly untrue, given the billions of dollars that we've seen coming out of that state. So why do you think Democrats are standing in the way of simply trying to be good stewards of federal taxpayer money?
It's an excellent question. You know, they love to talk about affordability, but our government isn't affordable. They can't even make government affordable, and standing in the way of these investigations is a very curious thing. And I think every voter needs to ask that question. Why? Listen, I go around the state of Minnesota and I talk to voters, and they want people held accountable, almost more than they want their money back. They want to see people, they're telling me, I want to see people in handcuffs, I want to see people in jail. They stole our money, what are we doing about it? And so that recourse is really important to people. And to stand in the way of that, why are Democrats doing that? It's a great question.
Yeah, accountability is key, because if there's no accountability, it continues to happen over and over again. We're seeing a number...
And people lose their faith even more.
Right, exactly. We've seen a number of indictments from the Department of Justice on fraud on this issue in the past couple of weeks, couple of months. However, there's still lots of big questions, in particular for lawmakers. Representative Ilhan Omar is from Minnesota. There are big questions about her role in all of this, what her husband has done with some of this money and some of these grants. What do you think about her positioning and her denial that there's anything untoward there?
Well, we know that she earmarked $1 million for a rehab facility attached to a restaurant, a Somali restaurant in Minnesota. That's curious. And then it was stripped. When it was pointed out, that earmark was stripped. She is a name that people bring up immediately and say, how did she get so rich so fast? It doesn't look like any of her husband's businesses, and she's a government, she's a service, in public service. How did they come about getting this money? And why is nobody looking? I hope that the DOJ is looking and we just don't know about it yet. But she is a perfect example of how these things have gone terribly wrong.
Well, Nick Shirley was, of course, one of the first people to be looking into this type of fraud. He not only started in Minnesota, but then he went to California. Vice President J.D. Vance has been tasked with rooting out this fraud. They found more than $500 million in fraudulent hospices, hundreds of hospices in California. I guess a lot of people need hospice there. That's very sad. But what about the reaction from California Democrats, including Governor Gavin Newsom, who are now trying to pass this bill called the Stop Nick Shirley Act, which would limit the work of independent journalists to go in and actually expose this fraud?
What's remarkable about Nick Shirley is that other journalists in Minnesota were discovering this fraud and trying to expose it. Here comes a kid in his early 20s with an iPhone and a dad, and they walk around Minneapolis and St. Paul and they find this fraud, and suddenly it goes viral. If only we had known it was only going to take an iPhone to get this stuff to go viral. So to put up prohibitions to anybody walking to a publicly funded institution, whether it's a rehab center or an adult daycare or an autism center that is publicly funded, and to suggest they can't investigate that as a citizen who is paying the taxes that subsidize these places, is insane to me, and it just goes to show there's a lot they seem to want to hide. There's a lot they seem to want to protect.
Yeah, there may be some First Amendment violations as well.
Yes.
Before you go, I have to ask you about this. You spent years working as a sports journalist. There's a new scandal involving Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel's inappropriate relationship. She has been suspended. Do you think that that's unfair, given that the coach is still working?
Well, and she actually ended up resigning from The Athletic, which is owned by the New York Times. I know Mike Vrabel fairly well. I don't know Dianna Russini. I know the photos weren't that flattering. And we can say, okay, hold on, are these being taken out of context? Are we being too picky? But the fact is, her employer finally said, you know what? We need to look a little closer. And she ultimately stepped down. Now, is it fair that Mike Vrabel still has a job? I think that's between him and his organization and probably his wife.
I think that's true, too. All right, Michelle Tafoya, U.S. Senate candidate for Minnesota, thank you for joining us.
Great to see you.
And welcome to town, and good luck, and travel safe.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.